All right, verse 15. Slack. Go ahead.
1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world.
See, that's the problem. So many of our people, you love this world. You love America. You love Thanksgiving. You love Christmas. You even love the Devil's Day. You love Halloween. In the same breath that you profess yourself to be a Christian, in the same breath that you express yourself to be a devout Muslim, our people say that it's okay to observe these pagan holidays. You observe a day that was marked by the destroying of your own people. Thanksgiving. Our people have partaken in trying to normalize things that are abomination according to the Bible. You bought into normalizing homosexuality. You say anything about homosexuality, people get offended. You've normalized dysfunction.
That's right.
One of the things that plagues the Latino, the black, the Native American, indigenous household is dysfunction. We're dysfunctional and self-destructive. And for all of that, the time that we choose to come together and kind of let our worries subside for the moment happen to be days that your oppressor, your enemy, your captor has deemed to be worthy enough for you to celebrate. You celebrate these days that are such an offense to the God that you say that you serve. Read it one more time.
1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world.
The Bible never said for you to love this world. It never said for you to love Thanksgiving. It never said for you to love Christmas. Love that Christmas tree. Love setting up them lights and decking your Christmas tree with silver and gold. That's in Jeremiah chapter 10. That's an abominable tradition. But yet for all of that, somebody will come to you and say, look, brother, sister, let me show you a better way. Let me show you what the Bible says. And for all of that, you ain't got time. But you call yourself a spiritual being. You call yourself a person or a son or a daughter or a child of God. Our people live in a state of hypocrisy. We want to talk about how real we are and how bad we are, how gangster we are. But the people that we need to be the most gangster with are the people that we bow down to. We have no problem coming into the faces of our own people, but we got a problem coming into the face of that white man. And it's more of us than them. So what, a white man got a gun? How many of us got it? We will sit and watch the police manhandle our children and our women. And we'll sit there and videotape it and say, it's all right, it's going to be okay. I got it all on tape. Look how far we've fallen. There's distrust in our communities. We're willing to trust white folks. White folks have been doing this over since day one. But we're still willing to give their businesses a chance. But the minute a so-called black or so-called Latino business does you wrong, you no longer will even think about patronizing another. Oh, it's a disease. And it has infected us, our whole community. Read that one more time. Absolutely, we got to stop killing each other. But guess what? It has to come to a point where we ain't afraid to make each other stop killing each other. See, what your oppressor does, he takes the gun out of your hands, but he says, let me protect you. And then you call him and he never shows up. But you trust that. They'll take your hard-earned money and you pay for the police department. But yet the police department will not serve you. They'll treat you worse than a second-class citizen. For all of this, the sister said, look, we got to stop killing each other. But how are we going to stop killing each other? How can we stand up against those of our people who are doing what they're doing to our own people if we're not even in a position to govern ourselves? If we're not in a position to police our own communities? See, that's the problem. You let this white man make you believe that it's okay to be disarmed. But yet he never even thinks about disarming his own people. They come in the hood, they want you to be docile. They want you to be nonviolent. But he don't teach that to his kids. Why he teach that to you and your children, but the white man don't teach that to his own kids? He takes his daughters and his sons and he teaches them how to shoot rifles. He shows them how to survive, how to fight. But yet when you come to our neighborhoods, blacks and Latinos, they tell us to put the guns down. They tell us it's the guns that's doing it. It ain't the guns, it's the people. Read it one more time.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
He said, don't love the world, talking about these other nations. Talking about the white man who has done everything to destroy Latinos. He's done everything that he could possibly think of to destroy black folks. Got blacks and Latinos fight one against another, and we're the only ones that's at the bottom. We got something in common. At some point, we ought to look at one another. First thing that come out of our mouth, well, them, it ain't no them, it's us. We're in this same hellhole together. Tired of the nonsense. Look at what's going on. You ain't got the Arab man in the ghetto. You don't have the African man in the ghetto. You ain't got the Asian man in the ghetto. You got blacks and Latinos in the ghetto. How in the hell can we be the minority? We're the majority. At what point are we going to say enough is enough? First thing that we want to talk about is us killing each other. That is true, but guess what? Let's get our dignity back first. Let's take on the one that's causing us to do a whole lot of the killing that we do in our own community. The white man. You put anybody in a situation where they ain't got nothing, and I guarantee you're going to have some fighting and some killing. You put anybody in a bad situation where they got to find a way to survive, I guarantee you're going to have some issues. You got this white man staring you dead in your eyes telling you, oh, everything's fair, you're free. Liberty and justice for all. Ain't no liberty. And it sure as hell ain't no justice for us. At what point are you going to hold this white man accountable for all of the lies? Sit up there and put Obama in office and you think you good now. What the hell did Obama do for us? Obama was a pawn at best. Obama never had your best interest at heart.
Let him know.
And as far as I know, Obama might not even be your people. But you looking for Obama to be the savior. 8 years went by, Obama didn't do a damn thing but killed more people than George Bush did. More folks died when Obama was in office than Bush. More drones hit children in other countries than did during the Bush administration. More weapons got dropped off to the mafia in Mexico during Obama's administration, and then for all of that, well, y'all had a black president. Just like I heard a sister say, yeah, with all black Congress and Senate. The problem is this. Ain't no more token Negroes. No more token Hispanics. When you got a government that's as corrupt as the government here in the United States, at some point you got to realize it ain't going to be no fixing it. Ain't no fixing it. That's why the Bible says, as a matter of fact, we're going to come back to that. Give me Daniel chapter 7. Because that's one thing I can respect about white people. White folks during the inception of this country, guess what they said? They said, you know what, I'd rather die than live as a slave. I'd rather die than have the government have the upper hand on me. If ever the government becomes rogue, then we're going to stand up.
That's right.
That's how white people move. And that's the reason why they in the position that they in today. But us, blacks and Latinos, we don't think like that. We have because we got a little bit of Section 8. We have because we got a couple of checks coming in. Some government assistance. Government. Go ahead and read that. You know what I want? Take the kingdom. Yeah, I need that. This is revolution right here. Read that.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 18. But the saints of the Most High.
The saints, talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. So-called blacks, Latinos, indigenous people, and those of our people that are scattered all over the four corners of this earth. All our people that are struggling right now. You got in these bootleg churches, they done taught you the rapture, the doctrine of the rapture. And all these things that are going to happen to these people. People are going to be losing their lives. You don't realize that that's happening right now, do you? Israelites are being murdered all over the globe. You got Israelites in Africa. You got Israelites in various different parts of Asia. All throughout Europe. Israelites everywhere. For all of that, we're getting murdered, oppressed. We're getting exploited everywhere. This is the only answer. Read it from the top.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
We're going to ask for it.
Shall take the kingdom.
We're going to pick it for it.
Shall take the kingdom.
He said you only got one option. You're going to have to take this. Because he ain't giving you not a damn thing. Oh, you want that white man to give you your freedom. You want him to give you your dignity. He ain't gonna give you nothing. And everything you think he give you, he got a string attached to it. It ain't really yours. Own a car, but you gotta pay insurance. You gotta pay registration. I gotta register something I own. Purchase a house, but I gotta pay taxes. How I'm getting taxed on something that belongs to me? You got a pillow tax? A reoccurring one at that.
Know the truth.
It's ludicrous. Go ahead.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever.
He said we're going to possess the kingdom forever. That's what this thing is about. They had you up in a bootleg church thinking that you was going to hopefully make it up to heaven, and you was going to be all day long clapping and shouting and and that's what you thought heaven consists of. He said no. He said in heaven, guess what? He said all these nations that were confederate against your people, he said all of them, they enjoyed your free labor. He said now they got to bow down. He said they got to serve you now. But he said, guess what? You served them 400 years. Plus all the other captivities. He said, so guess what? I'll do something better for you. He said, they're going to serve you forever. He said, that's righteous in my eyes. He said, I chose you above all people. And for all of that, our people say, oh no, what about the other nations? You so concerned with these other nations. Go back. First John, go ahead.
1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Said if any man love this world, then guess what? The love of the Father of this Bible is not in you. Well, I don't know. I just can't see myself worshiping a God that's like that. Well, you ain't read about the God of this Bible. The God of this Bible, you're not going to learn about him in your church on Sunday. They're not teaching the true doctrine of the Bible. That's straight up. That's why when people hear us, they think it's some foreign thing that we're speaking of. And everything we're speaking of comes straight out of the book. Why is it that your pastor won't go to certain scriptures? Why is it that he only brings out a few scriptures? He only brings out John 3:16. Ah, for God so loved the world. And never explain it according to what its proper context is. You got Stockholm Syndrome. You're so worried about your oppressor, but you're not even worried about your own soul. You're bleeding out. You're on the verge of spiritual death, but yet you're worried about somebody else who ain't concerned about you. Somebody who's done nothing but ill towards your people. That's a sickness. Go ahead.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
You love Thanksgiving and the love of the Father ain't in you. As soon as you hear this message, you ought to say, oh, there go my Thanksgiving. I ain't celebrating that ish. But you can't wait for that turkey, huh? You can't wait for that dressing, huh? You don't even know what that turkey and that dressing symbolize. You don't even realize that that turkey is used as a icon of mockery towards our people. How the native people would wear turkey feathers as crowns. It was something that caused them to show forth an aspect of royalty, and yet here they are mocking it. You talking about the dressing, which is called stuffing, with the cranberry sauce. Why cranberry sauce on dressing? Because it represents something. It represents them beating the stuffing out of our people. And the cranberry represents the blood that ran out of the bodies of our people as they tortured us and murdered us. And for all of this, you want to celebrate Thanksgiving. What's so crazy about it, a lot of my people who identify themselves as Mexican, you don't identify yourself as an Indian. Same people. Your folks was very well possibly some of the ones that were right there when the massacres were going on. But yet you celebrate Thanksgiving. Well, that ain't me. Shema, indeed. Kwam Yasharalas. It's so crazy. Our people are not willing to stand up against these so-called holidays. You want to celebrate Thanksgiving. A brother today just revealed to me, I got to go and do my research, but I'm pretty sure he's probably on point with the information. For all of y'all that love Christmas, guarantee the majority of y'all gonna get a Christmas tree, ain't you? Well, the majority of the Christmas trees, from what I hear, are actually sold by the Klan. So when you buy and you purchase those Christmas trees, guess whose cause you're supporting? You're supporting the cause of the Klan, the KKK. But if that be true, you don't care. A lot of y'all, you gonna get your tree anyway. Then you don't even care what the tree represents. The tree represents a male's private part. That's why they didn't choose any kind of tree. They chose an erect tree, a tree that stands straight up. Guy by the name of Nimrod represents his male member. And you take that tree and you put it in your house and you deck it with silver and gold. And you put gifts up under that tree. And you have your kids go to that tree and bow down to that tree as they go and reach for those gifts. No different than what you see when you go into the donut shop and they got the image of Buddha. They got folks laying stuff at Buddha's feet. But you call yourself a child of God. Verse 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
All that's in this world. Everybody wondering how they could please their flesh. New ribs, new booty, new car. Everything that they can do to please their flesh. But ain't nobody concerned with pleasing the God of this Bible. You ain't concerned with educating yourself, finding out what it really means to serve God. Now you must know that that ain't serving God that you doing on Sunday, right? You must know that, right? What are you really doing? Putting on a shiny suit? Putting a couple of bucks in an offering plate? And you feel like you justified? You feel like you vindicated now? Oh, you need to read. That's why the Bible said, blessed is he who readeth. He said, you got to keep these commandments. But your pastor telling you, you ain't got to worry about these commandments. Somebody's lying. Go ahead.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
He said all of these things has nothing to do with the God in his Bible. He said that ain't what I would have my people to be on. He said I want my people to come back to me. He said I want my people to wake up. He said I want my people to know that they're special to me. He said I want my people to know who their enemies are. I want you to know that white folks are your enemy. Because white folks know that you're their enemy. Straight up. And we can be peaceable right now. The same way that they're peaceable. That's why you think at times you don't have an enemy.
That's right.
Because you got white folks around you that treat you civilly.
Yeah.
And you think for all of that, that they're all at peace with you. But that's just not the reality. I wouldn't have too much of a problem being peaceable with a people that I had under my foot either. A people that I profit off of every aspect of their life, every aspect of their struggle. You got rappers who open up, and a bunch of them are full of BS, but rappers that pour their hearts out into music and give their testimonies, and for all of that, the people who profits off of that culture more than anyone else happens to be your oppressor, white folk. You can't even be the primary beneficiary of the profits from your own story. You can't even sell your own story without the white man having to produce it, to publish it. And he's gonna get the bigger cut.
That's right. Read it, native.
That's the country you live in. Right. Land of the free and home of the brave. Yeah, it's the land of the free and the home of the brave. You just ain't one of them. You just ain't free.
Tell the truth.
But it's time for you to be brave so that you can get some freedom. That's all I need. You know what? Keep going. 17.
And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
See, you've gotten to the point, our people have gotten to the point where you don't believe that there's a true reward for keeping the commandments of this book. You don't believe, you don't truly in your heart sincerely believe that there's vindication behind the keeping of these commandments. That there's true prosperity waiting, that there's a kingdom waiting for us. You don't want to say it, but it's true. But go ahead.
Verse 18, little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that an Antichrist shall come.
Everybody waiting on the Antichrist. Oh, the Antichrist coming. I think Donald Trump the Antichrist. Everybody waiting on the Antichrist. But watch this.
Even now are there many Antichrists.
He said there are many of them. That was even back then. What is an Antichrist? It's simple. Break down the word. Anti. Anti means what? Against. You got a whole lot of folks against Christ, including our own people that call themselves Christians. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of the... You a lie. You ain't keeping these commandments, you lying. And you won't even have it. The Bible says my people won't even consider. That's the part that hurts. Because my own people won't even consider to pick up the book and read it. They won't consider that they're the chosen people of God. You won't even consider it. That's what hurts. He said there are many antichrists. Many people who are against Christ. Talking about you love Christ. You love Christ so much that you ain't willing to do anything that he says, anything that he would ask of you to do. Like the brother brought out earlier. He said in John 14 and 15, if ye love me, keep my commandments. We really ain't got to do them commandments. That was the Old Testament. Well, that was in the New Testament when he said that. Well, after Christ died. Man, you full of it. Go ahead.
Whereby we know that it is the last time.
Oh yeah, it's the last time. In these churches, it's the last days. You don't realize how much of a last time it really is. This your last time to get it right. Somebody preaching to you. Somebody crying out to you. Beseeching you to do the right thing. To just listen. I ain't telling you to believe everything I'm saying. I'm saying go and do the research. But you're too busy. You're too proud. Let's go from there. Matter of fact, hey, stay right there real quick. Give me 1 John chapter 3. And let's get verse 13.
1 John chapter 3 verse 13. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you.
Said marvel not if the world hates you. Man, I promise you, when I was living how I wanted to live, when I was blowing major weed, rolling up blunts, yeah, I did it. When I was drinking real heavy, getting turned up, when I was moving how I wanted to move, from this chick to that chick, yeah, when I was about the nonsense and the foolishness, everybody loved me. Everybody loved me then.
Yeah. Know the truth.
But as soon as I said I want to make a change, I want to keep these commandments, I want to try to please God, that's all of a sudden everybody had a problem with me. Everybody that loved me, all of a sudden, they start ducking and dodging me. They stopped calling me. They stopped picking up their phones. Started blocking me on Facebook. Back then we had MySpace. Started ignoring me on MySpace. Yeah. Said don't even marvel when it happened. When the world hates you. Because this is the reason why. Read.
We know that we have passed from death unto life.
We passed from death. We were spiritually dead. And then we got some life. What's them things that they put on you when you go into cardiac arrest? And they hit you. Got hit, oh yeah, defibrillator. Got hit with the defibrillator. Came back to life. Go ahead.
Because we love the brethren.
Because now we love the brethren. Before we thought we loved the brethren. You see what you see on this corner? This is love right here. These men have a ton of other things that they could choose to be doing right now. But they've decided to stand on the corner of Slauson and Western to try to cry out to the people. To try to cry out to our people. Because we love our people. Because we love the brethren. We love Israel. We love you when you don't even know who you are. You don't even know that you're an Israelite. Being a Hispanic, Latino, you only know those names. You know black and African American. But you don't even know that your name is Israel.
That's right.
You don't know that your name is Yasharala. You don't know that you a Hebrew. You don't know that you a true Jew. For all of that, we stand out here to educate you. To cry to you, to say consider it. Just look into it. Ain't nobody putting a gun in nobody's head. I'm just saying, could you just open a book up and take a look for yourself? Sad because we get death threats. Folks come and talk to us crazy. All because we trying to love y'all. We out here trying to tell you who you are. That you great. And that you got a chance. If you just turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible. Go ahead.
He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
That's where we've been. Because we don't even consider ourselves as a people, as a nation. This is how we can consolidate ourselves. Unify ourselves. We are the same people. We are not just any people. We are a glorious people. We are a people with an extensive history. We are a people with a common struggle. We are a people with a common enemy. Blacks and Latinos, we got to come together. We got to come together. You see brothers in these garments and you wonder, what's that all about? Well, for my Latino brothers and sisters, look at the bottom of our garments. Something that we call fringes on the bottom of those garments. Where do you see those at in your culture? Don't you see the old-time Mexican garments looking just like that? The Native American, the indigenous garments looking just like that. Where do you think that came from? It's talked about in the Bible. It's your history. It's your culture. You are the chosen people of God. You are also the people that have been conspired against. You are the people that they continue to run game on and take your tithes and your offering in church on Sunday. As a matter of fact, give me that. Psalms 83. At some point, we got to say enough is enough. I see the brothers right there in the ties, in the collar shirts. They might be men of power. At some point, somebody's got to stand up. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 83 verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace.
He said, keep not thy silence and hold not thy peace. We've been in a situation where our God has been doing that. Because he's been upset with us. Because we wouldn't come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. We wouldn't come back to our identity. He said, I got it all waiting for you. Just come back. Just call unto me and I'll hear your cry. I'll take care of everything. All you got to do is come on back home. And we stubborn. You know how men, you ever had a situation where you got a lady, y'all get into it and she jump out the car and you like, get back in the car. Get back in the car. And she like, nah, I ain't getting, I'm gonna walk. I don't need you, blah, blah, blah. He said, look, just get back in the car. We can work this out. No. That's what we doing to the Heavenly Father. That's what we doing to the Christ that we say we love and we serve. That's how we be doing on Facebook. You talk about how much you love your spouse, but when you get home, you acting a fool. Tell me I ain't lying. Ah, my king, my this, my that. But you ain't treating him like a king when you see him at the house. Indeed. That's the way we do the Heavenly Father. That's exactly the way we do it. And he said, look, just come on back. We can work it out. I'll take care of you. And for all of that, we say, nah, I ain't getting back in the car. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. It's really sad when you know the story of your people and you know that everything that we've gone through and what we continue to go through, and that there's a solution. Because everybody else would have you to believe that there is no solution. There is a solution. Go ahead, read.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace.
He said, don't hold your peace. Go ahead.
And be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Said your enemies make a tumult. That's a great noise, a commotion. He said, and thine enemies have lifted up the head. Meaning what? Oh, they feeling good about themselves. Here we are, we fighting amongst each other in the ghetto, but we don't look at our real enemy. We ought to be ready to set it off in Beverly Hills. We ought to be willing to go to the suburbs where they tear their stuff up. So we ain't tearing our stuff up no more. As a matter of fact, everybody that's here setting up businesses in our neighborhoods, you got to get up out of here. These businesses should be for our people, for so-called blacks and Latinos, right? Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
But they've taken crafty counsel against us. I'm going to tell you some of that crafty counsel. Listen up. They set us one against each other. They teach us that we can't trust one another. They teach us that we're inferior when it comes down to doing business. They tell us that we don't have the mental capacity to govern ourselves. They teach us all these things. They teach us that we don't have it in ourselves to love one another, when that's a lie. It's a new thing for us to act the way we've been acting as of the last couple of decades towards one another. There was a time when so-called blacks and Latinos, we loved one another. We had our issues, but we wasn't killing one another at the rate that we're doing right now. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
They've consulted against the Israelites. You don't even know you an Israelite, and this is the reason why. Read up, listen up.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
They conspire to cut us off from being a nation of people. We call ourselves black now. We call ourselves everything else. We call ourselves Latino. We call ourselves Mexican. We call ourselves Argentinian, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, West Indian, Jamaicans. We call ourselves by all these different names, but we don't call ourselves by our original name, which is Yasharala, which is transliterated into Israel. Israel, which means immortal or eternal, princes of power. We don't know how powerful we are as a people. And they conspired because they said, I can't even let them call themselves by that name. You call a person king long enough, at some point they're going to say, you know what, I must be a king. They're going to start acting and moving like a king. But if you call a person a dummy long enough, then at some point it's going to affect them. And it's going to cause them to move in a way that's more conducive of having a lack of intelligence. So they knew exactly what they were doing when they began to call us by these other names. And they took our name from us and began taking our other names from us. Names that were in accordance to our language. Names that had meaning, that resonated with our spirits. Now they call you by these westernized names, slave names. Some of the names are all out made up. They don't even have a meaning or an origin. Go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
He said, I don't want the name of Israel to be no longer in remembrance. He said, I want you to call yourself a black man. He said, I want you to call yourself a Latino. I want you to call yourself everything besides Israel, besides Yasharala. He said, I don't want you to call yourself by that. He said, I want you to call yourself by other bywords. I want you to call yourself a nigga. Ah, we went from being a nigger to a nigga. And now we fine by it. And for all of this, we get so upset at the term. Especially when somebody outside of us calls us that. And we never take the time to actually go and do the research and see what the term actually means. It simply means black. You let somebody identify you and your people as black, but you get mad when they call you nigger. Because it means the same thing. It means black. And I get it. There's a connotation and there's history behind it now. I get it. When a person of that race or another race begins to call you by that term, it's likely that they're in a place of hate. I get it. But there's no way in the world at this point will I empower people of other races by acting a certain type of way or reacting a certain type of way because they call me a term that simply means black. You see how that works? We're more concerned about the term than we are about the terms. What terms do you think I'm speaking of? The terms of our existence. The terms of our citizenship. You ought to be more concerned about the terms of your citizenship. You ought to be more concerned with the fact that you are not a sovereign citizen. And ain't no paperwork gonna make you a sovereign citizen. You ought to be more concerned about the treatment of your people. But we're more concerned with nonsense. We're more concerned with our feelings than our actual treatment. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
You don't even realize that the other nations have conspired. They consult one another. They have counsels against your people. Even to this day, counsels that we are not privy of. We don't even know exist. While we sitting up there watching football and basketball and being entertained, they're making power moves, figuring out the next way to destroy you for the next couple of decades, figuring out how to destroy you in multiple ways, how to create crashes in the market so that they can take your homes and displace you, move you out of desired areas where they want to come back and live. They call that gentrification. It's sad because our people are not concerned with what's going on. We like living in a fantasy state. You want to go to church and clap and dance and sing and shout. You want to have proper English when you don't speak proper English all throughout the week. But soon as you get to church, your pastor, who is a retired pimp, all of a sudden speaks with an English accent. And everything becomes proper. You want to play church. You want to feel good when you drop your tithes and your offering in that plate that they pass around 2 and 3 and 4 times. You want to feel good just breaking, shouting and acting a fool I call it spiritual crack. And a lot of y'all gonna be in the spiritual crack house tomorrow. I call it a church. You go there and you get your hit. I guarantee it's better than any kush that you can smoke.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
All you get high up in that church house. They acting fool up in there.
Come on with it.
Pastor gets you real high. He even lay his hands on you. And he'll even lay his hands even longer on your wife. These pastors ain't no good. That's why we got so many pastors, they come by here, they be the main ones yelling out the windows, "You guys are liars!" Because we messing up their money. Messing up their game. All the pastors can't wait for you to get to that church house. They trying to figure out new ways to keep you in. Some of them now, they telling you that you Israelites. That's their way of keeping you in. They tell you, oh yeah, we know that Saturday is the Sabbath. That's why we got a Sabbath service. But they don't keep none of the ordinances of the Sabbath. Oh, they tell you, oh yeah, we're going to keep the Passover. They don't even know how and when to keep the Passover. And they still doing communion. Which communion was the Passover. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee.
You know what that word means? They are confederate. Here you go. You thinking ain't nobody worried about blacks and Latinos. Nah, everybody's worried about us. We the biggest threat on the face of this earth.
That's right.
They worried about us. Said they all confederate, meaning they all on one accord. They said, how we gonna destroy this people? Because when this people is in power, can't none of us do nothing to come up against them. Said when this people, when they in power, they ruling everything. They running everything. They the best at everything. Said we got to do everything that we can to come up against this people. And that's exactly what they did to us.
Yeah.